Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, 8 years have elapsed since my election at the end of January 2017 as chairperson of the African Union Commission. At this moment, loaded with history, meanings and symbols, I would like to fulfill the moral duty of presenting to you the broad outlines of the outcome of these 2 terms. Thanks to this journey, I have deeply imbued myself with both what makes the greatness and the influence of our continent, of our continental organization, as well as the various constraints and limitations that have hindered the rhythm of our pace. I have crisscrossed this beautiful and fantastic continent. I feel deeply proud, having visited at least once all the 55 member states of our union. The opportunity that this moment affords is historical and unique. I will try to fulfill the dual obligation of reporting and also raising some questions about some issues, being well aware that we must not absolutely abuse of your precious time. A consolidated report of our achievements and an annual report have been distributed to you in accordance with our regulations. Mr. Chairman, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the rapid and intense geopolitical upheavals that have characterized the international context during my 2 terms of office have both violent and destabilizing manifestations. The sudden deterioration of the health situation following the outbreak of COVID-19 was unfortunately accompanied by major shocks and profound economic and diplomatic turbulence. For Africa, this resulted in an increase in the debt burden, a decline in public and private investment flows, violence and the prevalence of some African conflicts, the collapse of Pan-Africanism and the chains of African solidarity, manifestations of the obsolescence of African institutions, external appetites in Africa, obvious deficiencies in governance and leadership in Africa and even in the world, and the crisis of multilateralism after the Second World War, and so on, and so on. The Russia-Ukraine war, which began in February 2022, further darkened this picture, announcing a global geopolitical reconfiguration. A split emerged that resurrected a form of bipolarity, which in political imaginations brings to mind the theoretically outdated reality of the Cold War. Deep uncertainties about the sustainability of peace and international cooperation have poisoned the minds, darkened the conscience, and reinforced the pessimism, selfishness, and mercantile pragmatism. The consequences of this war deeply affected Africa, which imported most of its cereal consumption and agricultural inputs from these 2 countries, that is Russia and Ukraine. The specter of food and health insecurity hung over many of our countries, many of which continue to suffer from their structural fragilities.